Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all having a wonderful hump day. We're gonna be. Bro, I crack myself up sometimes. Oh goodness. Anyway, we're gonna be looking at the S&P futures contracts, the E-mini S&P futures contracts for March. We're gonna be breaking down from the weekly all the way down to the daily, down to the 30-minute time frame where we view our profile. We're not going to look at the monthly. Monthly is still in balance. I can pull up, uh, as you can see, we're still in a monthly balance. I'm not going to pull up the monthly candles because we are still trading in this balance area. However, things are beginning to change. What do you mean? All right, well, last week we were in a 3-week balance. We attempted to come out of the balance. Uh, I didn't want to call it trend up yet. I didn't want to say we're one time framing up yet, just because we had only began to stretch that balance high. I wanted to see if this week we could come in and take out the last week's high, take it out, and then begin to confidently one time frame up on the weekly time frame. So now we are one time framing up on the weekly, now eating back some of this massive wick from that outside week down that we had back in December, right? So, what is occurring? Well, it, basically we sold off, volume was absorbed down here, inventory was absorbed, and now it's being distributed higher. There isn't much supply, price is being accepted higher. As you can see, we back tested into that balance high, never got accepted below it, so we're initially pushing up. That's a really good wick, strong candle for the weekly so far. Initially, it did look kind of ugly. Now it's looking good. Let's look at the daily. Daily, things are becoming interesting, right? Daily, we broke out of that balance high. Same, the weekly balance was also the same as our daily balance. You can see we attempted to come out, zoom in a little bit more. We attempted to come out last Friday. We one time framed up Monday. Yesterday, we pulled back, put the daily back into a balance. I said it was going to be a 3-day balance. Some people could call it a 2-day. So this is how I had my balance looking. I said this was my 3-day balance high. This was my balance low. Yesterday, we closed above the 20 and the 50. I said it wasn't 2 days, 3 days, one day doesn't make a market. Let's see what happens. We want to see if price can find acceptance of higher price above 50 day moving average, and that's what is occurring currently. Um, as we did not take out yesterday's low, we opened today with a gap, and you can see that here on the daily, and you can see it on the intraday time frame. You can see, boom. I know that's extremely zoomed in, but we held a gap. Not a very large gap, but we did hold a gap right there. See that? And you can see it on the intraday time frame when we break that down. You can also see, I said yesterday in my if-then statements, if price were to open up above today's high or inside today's range and take out today's high, we had nothing until the 3-day balance high or Monday's high at 39.7325. If we got above that, then you should go and attack the 200-day moving average and get into that daily gap that I've been talking about for several days now. Guess what? We've started to eat away at that little gap there. Above there, there isn't much, and I'll show you on the intraday time frame, the 30-minute time frame, what that is looking like. So far today, we attacked the 200-day moving average, got above it. However, this is 200-day moving average based on RTH only. If I were to do a full session, I believe it is higher, and I think even then we're still closing above it. So let me try to include the full session here. Futures show extended hours trading. We'll apply that, and then you should see the 200-day. Ooh, that's an ugly chart. Uh, you should see the 200-day moving average slightly higher than what it was just a second ago. So on here, with the full session trading going into place, with the extended hours included, we didn't quite get to the 200-day moving average. 200-day moving average was up here at 39.93. today's high was 39.9250, so we missed it by 2 ticks if you were to include the after hours trading. However, for me, I like to do just the why do I keep clicking that? I like to include just real-time trading hours, because those are the times that I trade. So if you're an Globex trader, maybe you trade using that 200-day moving average. For me, I'm going to say we're above the 200-day moving average, attempting to fill this gap. Tomorrow should continue to one time frame up. However, we have data coming out tomorrow, such as the CPI, that could make things tough for us. We could roll back over, fill this downside gap right here, right? So now we have this downside gap as well. So we could fill that gap, or we could fill this gap. If the market likes what it's hearing, should fill this gap, no problem. Take back this massive trend day from the 14th of December, uh, and then look to break out of this. So this year could be a change for things, right? We've been setting higher highs, higher lows on the shorter time frames, kind of boom, 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 right? Things might be trying to change. Things are changing on the weekly. Things are changing on the daily. Will things change on the monthly once we get to that monthly balance high? Where's it at? Nope, wrong thing. And that monthly balance high is a long ways away. That monthly balance high is up here at 43.2750. So if the market likes what it's hearing, CPI, we also have earnings. Earnings run up. Maybe we go and test that balance high or get near it. If not, good. Actually, no way. This is that a gap? I think there's still a gap here. All right. That's interesting. I didn't see that gap before. I think there's still an upside gap here, guys. Yeah. There's still an upside gap here. That never got filled quite. So I'm gonna highlight that. Maybe that's an area of interest up here around the 42.14, 42.15 areas. Did not notice that until now. There's an upside gap still, other than the one that we are currently in. Uh, right here. Boom. So there's another upside gap in this range. We have not filled it yet. So I'll keep that highlighted. Maybe that's in target area. If we start taking away these daily highs, continue to one time frame up on the weekly and the daily, and earnings, along with a positive CPI, could really push this market higher. Um, I'm a day trader. I have no bias, but right now, market is trying to move up. So probability, move higher. We want to find acceptance above the 200-day moving average, find acceptance of higher price. Now, let's go to our 30-minute time frame. Look at our profile. I did well today. I took a few trades, not many. Not very many trades at all. Overall, I ended up around $359 today, which is a great day. Over time that adds up. But that's across three different accounts. So I made like 120 on one, 97 on another, and then like 125 on another. Something along those lines. I would have to bring up my broker and everything, but really good day for me. I did really well early on. I was taking shorts. I actually made most of my money on shorts on pushes up in F and then G period, pulling back to the point of control. Um, then I decided to get long in what time frame was that? Actually, I'm wrong. I was taking shorts in E and in F period because point of control was down here at E's low around 39.58. Let's get rid of all this minutia and let's just start from the beginning. I tend to get excited. I get hype when I'm looking at things like this. So first and foremost, let's highlight this gap here, right? So initially, I'm gonna start from wherever we opened up. This was the gap area right here. This whole range here was the gap. initially. So in the A period, we pulled back. In A period, we pulled back into that gap uh, a little bit. B period didn't quite do anything. C period, we took out the initial balance low, got into that gap, and reduced it by just a hair. So here's our gap now, an area where you find some buyers, right? Boom. So still holding that gap, positive for buyers. We have higher value. See that through this. And bring that up. Boom. Apply. Okay. Boom. So now we have higher value. You can see that here value was around this in this whole range here that I'm highlighting, right? Value's higher from the previous day, so that's positive for the bulls. However, even though we took out the overnight high, have a gap, things were kind of choppy throughout most of the day. We held the gap, positive sign for bulls and buyers. However, volume was really low, and not a lot was happening. We didn't go trend technically, even though we moved up higher, one time framed up most of the day. Didn't move any higher, which was kind of disappointing. You would have liked to see more volume and us hold trend. We actually attempted an F period, build the single prints. We attempted again an H period, build the single prints. But all day long, we basically one time framed up. There was really no reason to get out of a long. I had a couple of really good longs here in G period. Was it G? I can't remember. Yes, it was G period. I was long 63 in G period. And held it and got out around 70 on the push up. Uh, Pretty good size. I think it was long about a 3 lot. Got out. Should have held in. Yeah, as this market really wasn't pulling back. However, I was being cautious because point of control was down here still. Eventually got moved up to ease high later in the day. Took a short in I period, pull back to get to the point of control here at ease high at 65, where you see this yellow line on the profile. Taking a short to get to that. Didn't quite make it there. However, I had a really good fill. I was filled at 73 and a quarter, and I got out 70s and 69. I could have been more patient, held in. I initially had my bid down at 65, which was right 65, right where uh, E's high was. However, I didn't feel like the sellers were really strong, and we were above our balance high at this point. We had just taken it out, so I felt like shorts were definitely going to be covering on pullbacks. Longs were the better deal, so I decided to get out of the trade. Turned out to be a really good trade, and we ended up pushing up the remainder of the day. One time framing up, we go out with a price probe, and then we get into the gap right here where you see gap starts. So overall, good day for buyers. As a seller, definitely were covering. Even as a swing trader, you were definitely covering above this balance high. So I think that's all today was. So what happens if the short covering uh, quits? Guess what? There are no more bids. Supply comes in. This thing rolls over. But all that can be neglected tomorrow by CPI data. So let's go ahead and break down or go ahead and mark down our destinations for today. Uh, so we still have a little bit of the gap left. We still got about 7 points worth of gap to fill. We go out with today's low holding the gap at 48.75, 39.48.75 is our low of day and where the gap begins. Slash gap start. All right. Gap gets filled here at this high. We're going to mark that green. High day, gap, fill. Boom. So now we know if we pull back, you can potentially find buyers in this area. If there's enough supply, then it should fill no problem. We have an afternoon pullback low in H period. Why is it an afternoon pullback low? It's not a technical one, but it is one that, if we pull back to that area, you could potentially find bids. So it's just an area to keep marked, keeping your eye on it. Afternoon pullback low. However, if we had, I would lean on it more had we gone trend and then pulled back and had an afternoon pullback low, because I would have felt more confident in taking a long against that. Well, afternoon pullback low. Do we call this a price probe? I think we call this a price probe. L's high is going to be a price probe. So it's where price spikes. So the most positive thing tomorrow is to open above this price probe for buyers. Price probe. So buyers want to see us open up above L's high. However, if we pull back into L's high, then you could potentially find buyers. You get below that, then your next downside destination is the afternoon pullback low. You get below that, the next downside destination is not until where the gap starts at 39.4875 and the gap fill at 39.42. Below that, there's a big ass void, excuse my French, big void down here to 38.9725. And if the market doesn't like what it sees or hears tomorrow, it can and will go get those destinations. However, for the upside, we still have today's high day where the gap begins for the upside. 30.99 or 75, 90.75, 39.90.75. Holy cow, numbers. Gotta love them. Uh, right here, high day, gap, start. 3. Gap gets filled here at 39.97. So if buyers open up above the price probe, should easily take out today's high day. If we get today's high day, we should fill this gap at 39.97, and then you don't have anything, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. Absolutely nothing from that gap fill till this 9 wide point of control back from the 12th, or not the 12th, the 14th of December at 4,076.50, a whopping 78 points to the upside. All right, so if the market likes what it sees tomorrow, volatility kicks in, volume kicks in, gap, we push higher. That is your next destination. If we get that, you don't have anything till the high day at 40.90.75, and then start attacking that trend day from the 13th where we had single prints. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this video is instructive or constructive, however you want to look at it. I don't know. It's a long day. Uh, hopefully this video has been of help to you, and if you do, please leave a like, comment below. You would like to see me start including some stocks, breaking down charts on certain equities, maybe comment those down below and I'll start breaking those down maybe in a separate video from my S&P 500 futures breakdown. But other than that, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for all the support. Keep it up. Thanks. Have a great day. See ya.